Hi, welcome to Socializing for Robots. Today we're going to be talking about rules or tips for texting or really any kind of direct messaging or DM for acquaintances and friends. These rules only really apply to these two types of platonic friendships. They don't really apply to best friends and squad. So the first is when to start a conversation. A good rule of thumb to know what time of day starting a conversation would be a good idea is think about when would you be comfortable getting an unexpected knock on your door or a phone call. For most people in North America, that's between about 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Because that's what a DM is. It's basically a digital phone call or knock on your door. So avoid texting or messaging people before 10 a.m. or after 8 p.m. An exception to this would be if you have an event during that time. It's pretty normal to message someone before an event to maybe arrange plans on going to the event or to ask details about the event. And it's pretty normal to text an hour or two after the event to say, oh, thanks for coming, or had a good time, things like that. Okay, so next, I'm going to be talking about how to continue a conversation. So it's basically yes and. So someone says something, you say yes and. For example, I don't know, eating donuts, someone says, do you like the vanilla donuts? Yes, and I also like the chocolate. Actually, I prefer the chocolate. Or, great weather we're having today. Yes, and I was planning to go for a walk because it's so nice. That kind of thing. So as long as you're saying yes, acknowledging what the other person said, and then building upon it, and maybe asking a question or saying more about your day, it's probably a good thing. This is an example of what a healthy conversation would look like. Both people are talking about the same amount. So this is person A, this is person B. Person A says something, person B responds with something that allows person A to develop on that, what they said, and it goes back and forth. What you don't want to see is if either you or the other person is kind of dominating the conversation, where they're sending way more than you're sending or vice versa. If that's happening, it's time to either change the topic or end the conversation for another time. You never really want to text three things before the other person has responded. It's good to kind of go back and forth. An exception would be if the person's kind of talking about their day, and this is perfectly fine for short periods of a conversation, but if the whole thing looks like this, it's not a good sign. Okay, so let's say you're having this kind of conversation. There's about 2 or 3 positive ways to end a conversation or change the topic. If you see that the other person, instead of acknowledging what you're saying and then expanding upon it, is either just acknowledging what you're saying and leaving it there, or not even doing that, then they're probably trying to either end the conversation or change the topic. So for example, if you said great weather and they're like, yep, they're probably trying to end the topic or the conversation. If you said nice weather and they said, yeah, and because of that, I want to walk my dog today, then they probably want to continue that conversation. So in the same way, if you want to end the conversation, you can politely acknowledge what they said but not develop upon it. You can simply end it by saying, oh, I have to go. And one way people end conversations that's not really, I'd say, positive, but it's happening more and more, is just kind of leaving the conversation. But I wouldn't advise that unless it's established that that's an okay way to end the conversation, aka the other person has done that before. Alright, thanks for watching.